They may be called the Palace Guard, the City Guard, or the Patrol. Whatever the name, their purpose in any work of historic fantasy is identical. It is round about chapter 3, or 10 minutes into the film, to rush into the room, attack the hero one at a time, and to be slaughtered. No one ever asks if they wanted to. This book is dedicated to those fine men. Guards by Terry Pratchett, Discworld book number 8. And, you know, I've said it before, and I'm probably going to say it a lot more. Another brilliant, absolutely brilliant Terry Pratchett Discworld novel. I love Terry Pratchett, and this one is one of my favourite. It's the first of the Watch novels in the Discworld, and yeah, another absolute brilliant gem. This novel is a bit odd. It was supposed to be, you know, we've got mysterious secret societies, we've got dragons, we've got fair maidens. We've got maidens anyway. You know, we've got the men, and we've got would-be kings and magic and mystery. And it's supposed to be about this hero in the mountain, and they have a hero from the mountain. But there was someone else that just reared his head and just wouldn't be ignored by the writing, and much to Terry's annoyance, kind of stole the story, and took over the plot. And yeah, I think that's, you know, anyone who's a writer who's had them moments crafting their story and watching it run away from them will tell you that is pure magic, and that's why we write, you know. Of course, I don't write in Terry Pratchett's league, but you know, as someone that's written and watched that happen to my own story. And Commander Vimes definitely steals the show in this book. It's, you know, and the Watch series centers around him, despite Corporal Carrot being a brilliant character and a wonderful character. But we start with, you know, mysterious meeting, a secret society in the rain, a flow of passwords. Of course, we eventually hit a snag because they've used the wrong password, and they're supposed to be 3 doors down to the other secret society, which is Terry Pratchett in a nutshell. You know, nothing's simple. It's always a joke. It's always a pun. It's always brilliant. And so these upstarts basically formed a secret society to get rid of the patrician of Ankh-Morpork. And, you know, the Lord Vetinari is a supreme leader that, like no other. I think that there's a line about Machiavelli making Machiavelli. I can't think of it. I wish I had highlighted it. But it's basically belittling Machiavelli compared to Vetinari, the way he controls the city. And the way he does it, he legitimized the guilds, the Thieves Guilds, the Assassins Guild, the Seamstress Guild, the Seamstress Guild. And basically it made the city the, you know, unauthorized theft, unauthorized murder, and that sort of all disappeared. So, and that's how Ankh-Morpork works, with organized chaos, basically. And yeah, so, and the Watch just became a joke. Pretty much just became a joke. And the Night Watch was very much a joke. Sam Vimes, who's drinking his way to an early grave. Sergeant Colon, who's one of life's born sergeants. And Nobby Nobbs, who, you know, all brilliant characters, but Nobby Nobbs is, well, he does qualify as human because he has a bit of paper that says so. I don't think it said it in the first novel. You know, like I've said before, I read these years ago, and then I'm listening back to them, falling in love with the stories again, and sharing that love and passion with you guys. So yeah, Nobby Nobbs and Corporal Carrot. He's up in the mountains, raised by dwarfs. The fact that he is 6 foot plus is, you know, a bit of a a bit of an odd coincidence, but he was taken in by the dwarfs, and it's, started to get chummy with the young lady, as young boys or young men do, and so the family had a bit of an issue, not a negative issue, but it just wasn't quite right. So they decided to send him off to the city to be with his own people, which he got some wonderful advice, give him back his sword, and so they packed him off, sword, his birthmark, full of hopes and dreams, and sent him off with a letter to apply for the Ankh-Morpork Guard, which is a fine job for them. What they think is a fine job up in the mountains, in the Dwarf Mountains. And they also packed him a protective, which will come in handy later. a cup protective, and he's just this gullible, lovable, country boy with big dreams. He's read the book on the city ordinance and the rules of Ankh-Morpork, cover to cover, and memorized everything. And he gets into the big city and basically reports into duty to Sam Vimes, who's deep in his cups, and without any direction decides to arrest the head of the Thieves Guild for being a thief. Oddly enough, it's, but that's not the done thing. The fact that he's the Thieves Guild, and it's very much allowed, but no, Carrot arrests him, so that causes the bit of the chaos. But the Secret Society, basically, they're where the story really unfolds. Unhappy with the patrician, want a king back. They want a real kingdom, a real king. Of course, one that'll be easy to manipulate. So they steal a bunch of magical items and summon a dragon. What could go wrong? Really? Summon a dragon. What could go wrong? Once they get rid of the patrician, their puppet king slays the dragon, then they'll just stop summoning the dragon. But of course, dragons are magical creatures, aren't they? So, that's not quite going to stand for that, even though they're not really dragons anymore in the Discworld, except swamp dragons, which are wonderful characters, and just great big lizards with wings that basically explode fairly regularly. Their digestive system is in chaos, and they basically explode fairly regularly. But they do have an ally, the Lady Sibbald, who's from fine ram-top stock, where they build their women to be sturdy and produce great big sturdy men. So the way he describes Lady Sybil in some of the scenes, it's brutal. It's brutal, but it's comes from a place of love. But yeah, no lady would like to be described as Lady Sybil is described. But that's Terry Pratchett. One of the stories about a very rotund character is basically a loose description of someone he knew, and it was in a documentary I watched, and the guy talking about him just like he read how Terry Pratchett basically described him, and it was not nice at all. It was not nice, but all tongue in cheek and all friendly banter, and the guy, he laughed it off. But yeah, and that's what bad jokes. Bad, but hilarious because they're bad, terrible puns, and again that you just love. Fantastic book. And yeah, once the magic gets chaos, and then Sam Vimes decides to drag himself out of the bottle and start taking action, and that's what I love. He, like I said, he basically steals the show, and the rest of the guards books, which I think if it had stayed as Carrot, they might not have endured as much as they do. But yeah, Sam Vimes is that roguish, brutal, but lovable character. He's not quite the anti-hero. He's just a gruff hero, and he finds his purpose and he finds his direction. And yeah, then the stories will follow, and I am going to talk about them a lot. So look out for more of them as they come. But yeah, once, of course, they displace Lord Vetinari in a prison, and the genius of the cell where they put Vetinari, that's one of the many examples of his genius, is what happens when they put him in the cell. And I try not to give too many spoilers and that, and I'm always that delicate balance of trying to tell you so you want to read it, but not telling you everything so you want to read it, you know? But that one's definitely worth keeping an eye out for. And it's fantastic. And Carrot's letters home to his parents and you know, always addressing Minty are just pure gold. The naivety and innocence of him, you know. There was a dragon the other night, and this is up, and give my love to Minty, or say hello to Minty, and yeah, it's just brilliant stuff. And I think we already have met Cut Me Own Throat, Dibbler, and he comes into it where he gets his selling ointments. He can sell ice to Eskimos kind of character, and he's doing it a bargain. He's cutting his own throat, doing a bargain. And there was an Easter egg at the end, which I didn't really pick up on the first time I read it, but basically where he gets these ointments and these mystic things, and it's actually an Easter egg about it in the end, and a future character from these, you know, monasteries up in the mountains that he always tells people that where he's getting his amulets and ointments and stuff. And yeah, there's actually an Easter egg that I just genuinely did not notice when I first read this book. They're absolutely fantastic. I love everything about them. Guards is a brilliant book. Definitely one of my favourites. Like I said, we're really getting into how good a writer Terry is now. He's really hitting his straps, and he just gets better. And that's the thing. Like, I pump him up, and he just gets better. And this is book 8, so, you know, I've still got 33 more books to review, and I can't wait to re-listen to them, fall back in love with them, and share that with you guys. Absolutely brilliant. Guards. Book 8 of the Discworld by Terry Pratchett. Absolutely fantastic, brilliant read. Can't recommend them enough. Happy reading. Subscribe and follow for more. And say hello to Minty for me.